Today is the 11th?
Yes.
Okay.
Easy.
Wow. Kind of amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's really
So,
amazing.
Piglet says to Pooh, what day is it? Today, says Pooh. Today, says Pooh. My favorite day, says Piglet.
I love it.
I know. There are so many amazing life lessons in Pooh.
Yes. The Tao of Pooh. At least the book. The book originally was the Tao of Pooh with a T, not the D. So there is a book called that. What's the guy's name now? But anyway, you can look it up. So yeah.
Look that up. Actually, I have heard that T-A-O is also pronounced like Tao.
Right.
Correct. But for whatever reason, the English spelling came to be because they misheard it and they spelled it as Tao. And it was pronounced Tao just in the Anglicized version, but yeah, it's all pronounced Tao. Correct. Yeah. So later it switched, so. But anyway, the book is if you say the Tao, people type in DAO and they might not found it, but it's the Tao. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. The reason I bring up that the Pooh quote is because it connects to the patients.
Right.
Okay.
What moment is it? Now. My favorite moment.
Absolutely.
Right away, you have patience. That's it. Very simple.
Absolutely.
Right away, you have patience. So if you're enjoying the moment, how is patience a problem?
True.
Right. This is a good point.
I have to run and go get lunch started, but on the topic of Pooh, just to have some fun, this is my favorite memory of
Brilliant.
this absolutely silly, ridiculous poem. I don't even remember what.
I still can't say it.
I know. Yeah. I don't even remember what this was in. Like, I don't remember if it was in a collection of.
Now we are
poems.
6.
Now we are 6.
Now we are 6.
And is that a Pooh book or?
It's a book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a collection.
Right.
But it's called.
Wow. This, we used to read this and just absolutely die laughing.
Brilliant.
Still my favorite Pooh memory ever. The poem is called Furry Bear. I just looked it up because I can never remember the name of it, but it's called Furry Bear.
Furry bear?
Furry Bear. Yes.
If I were a bear, and a big bear too.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. Yeah, okay, and you have to read it, Mom, because she has this perfect cadence of like a little kid.
All right, I heard that. Okay.
I have to have it in front of me because I don't remember it.
It's in chat. Did it come up? If you click on the chat.
Yeah, it's in chat. You just have to click on the chat button.
I don't know where the chat button is.
Click on your Zoom or move your cursor at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Oh, perfect timing, Beena. Just in time for a story. Brilliant. You got it?
Okay. Okay. Well, Erica, you should read it with me.
With you? No, we'll be out of sync. You gotta do it. You have the perfect.
Okay. Here we go. If I were a bear, and a big bear too, I shouldn't much care if it froze or snowed. I shouldn't much mind if it snowed or frizz. I'd be all fur-lined with a coat like his. For I'd have fur boots and a brown fur wrap, a brown fur knickers and a big fur cap. I'd have fur muffle ruff to cover my jaws, and brown fur mittens on my big brown paws. With the big brown furry down up to my head, I'd sleep all winter in a big fur bed.
I love that.
I have tried to memorize that so many times and I cannot.
Brown furry down. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
The rhythm of it is
Yes. It has a very particular cadence. Yes. It's very cool.
When she was little, we used to read and just die laughing.
Yes, it's still.
It still makes me
Hello, Beena. Did you enjoy the poem, Beena?
Oh yes, just a bit of.
Look, there's a picture of Beena.
Yes, there's a picture of Beena today. Yes. So this was for in the yearbook, the Angels yearbook, but the Sober Angels yearbook, and they were taking the pictures, and they said, "Okay, sobriety," but Beena said, "No, I want to smile. No, I want to smile, but I can't. I have to be sober. No, but I want to smile. I want to smile, but no, I gotta be sober." So that was the picture. Yeah.
All right, y'all. I have got to run. But
All right.
Brilliant.
We'll see you later.
Right. So in the Mourners Project, we're going to do a little course on Winnie the Pooh.
awesome. Yay. I love
Yeah.
food.
Okay, before you go, can you tell me how to get out of chat?
There should be, so there's an arrow up in the upper left-hand part of chat, like a down arrow.
Or I think you can just click on the chat button again, and it closes it. No.
Potentially. I always do the little X, but maybe.
Ah.
Yeah. Yep.
It works. So,
Yeah. Either way. Brilliant. All right. Bye bye, Erica Jane. See you. Fabulous. So excited. Hello, Kay. Hello.
hello. How are you?
I am most excellent. And how about you? How are you?
Good. Sarah, go
Yes,
light.
very, very good or very good?
Go lie down. Just doing excellent.
Yeah, all good. So, since it just seems like it's been ages since we were on, I don't know why, but it does. it truly feels like it's been 3 weeks, maybe 2 to 3
my,
weeks.
it's only
That's
been
all.
days.
My sense of time is, which is again why I have patience, because I really shifted my sense of time. I did this quite deliberately. But anyway, it feels like a long time ago. Has anything that's come up for you since then and now that's been somewhat pertinent, somewhat relevant?
Well, I'll tell you what. It does seem like a long time in some ways to me too, because there's just a whole bunch of that swirling. Still happening.
That's why I'm asking.
But it's good.
Good.
I'm okay with it. Yesterday, I don't know. My screen looks different than usual. Is it different? I mean,
we can't see.
There's a
we
whole
click on
bunch
screen
of,
chat, we maybe see.
I don't know how to do that either. Share screen. Okay, I'm going to try to press this button and see what happens. Hang on. I don't know that worked very well. And now I messed up. I shouldn't have even done that. All right, I'm going to press this.
You started screen sharing. Brilliant. So let's see what's going on here.
But half of my thing got lost over here. I don't know where you guys are.
Okay, so you just got, okay. Are you on like a Chromebook or something?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Beena, we have a resident Chromebook expert. By the way, the first opportunity you can to go to the tallest building in your neighborhood and your city. I don't know which one it is, but yes, take it and drop your Chromebook off the edge, please.
Stop,
These things are just dreadful. They're dreadful. Right. Yeah.
Okay, here's what happened though. Here's what happened. Somehow, you guys, the Zoom part is really small, and you're up at the top. And I know you like it at the top, but I like it over at the side. And I don't know how to get it back to the side.
You can't right now because you're in screen share.
Oh, well, how do I fix that?
So you just exit screen share. That's all.
Well, I don't see a place to exit.
Move your Beena, where do you go to exit screen share?
She's gone.
Beena?
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
It's okay.
Kay is on a Chromebook and she's screen sharing and she sees us up at the top, but she doesn't know how to exit screen share. How do you do that?
Just on top of your screen, you will see a green or red bar.
No.
Stop sharing. It must be written there. Stop sharing.
I don't know how.
Maybe you are in full screen sharing mode. So press escape key first.
Ooh, wait a second. I just did something bad. Okay, tell me again. I'm sorry.
Press escape key.
Escape.
To take you out of full screen.
No, it didn't. You know what?
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to.
Hold on. The other thing you can try is just move your cursor up at the top middle of your screen. Yeah, round about there. Keep going. Go higher even. Do you get nothing? Oh, that's the highest. Nothing comes up as a.
No, and I can't figure. I don't.
There's no red button.
Okay, I can.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
She
She got it.
Okay, I did.
You got it.
All right.
Okay.
What, Beena?
I think we're good.
Otherwise, we can do that. We can do that
Yeah.
by
We
sharing the
can
screen.
kick you off as well, but I wanted Kate to see for herself. Yeah.
Yes.
It is useful to know how to screen share, Kate, because we could see your notes there, which was very fun to see. I said Attunement needed a spelling correction, but other than that, it's fun.
Yes,
But I'm just indicating, I was just using it also this demonstration that we can see.
I know. And okay, let's fix it. I don't like misspell. Well, let's see. I messed it again. Okay. There we go.
Well,
No?
right click and then you can get it. So,
There. Okay, got it.
yeah. But it's useful sometimes to share stuff that you want us to see.
Right. I know. I'm gonna learn.
And it's whatever's on your desktop. When you hit screen share, we'll see what's on your desktop.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
poor
just
Eric.
make sure that your desktop
Trying to
is,
help.
is safe. Not that I can't imagine it wouldn't be, but you never know. You never know.
You never know.
I don't presume for anybody. So you were saying, did anything in the last couple of days, anything particular bubble up?
Swirling. And I think our last session was so helpful, and it was really good for me. And
Wow.
I was going back and kind of looking over some of the notes I took at the time, and I was sort of, we talked about me resigning from my teaching job, and
Yes.
even though I don't know what is next. And I that night I couldn't sleep. I was just so, I was just all messed up over. And the next day I was, just and I felt really pressured to go, talk to my boss, and and I'm sitting there rationalizing back and forth of what I should do, and should I call her, should I text her, should I go over there, which is a long ways, is clear on the other side of town. Should I should I tell her this, should I tell her that, blah 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 blah. And I just was kind of wearing myself out with it, and I finally decided that I needed to just stop, and just be still, be quiet, and I would hear the right thing. And so I ended up, it was so cool. I ended up later on going on a walk. You know how I go on a walk? I go almost. And I go over to the lake, and I did not see a snake this time, but I saw the coolest bird. And I was walking, and you're right by the lake, and I just, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something moving. And there's the path kind of goes like this, and then it drops down a little bit to go into the water, and there's some rocks and stuff down there. And so I was up here, and here I could see this little something moving. And so I just stopped, and I looked, and I could see that it was a bird. And so I got my camera, my phone, and I was trying to take a picture. And it was kind of cool because there was a lady behind me with a dog. And I was thinking to myself, the dog's going to come along, the bird is going to go away.
Yeah.
But she saw what I was doing, and she stopped, which I thought was really cool.
Yes.
And then another person came along, and she told the other person to wait while I was taking.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really awesome. So I started taking pictures. It was really cool. And then I went ahead and I went around, and then I could see him from the other side. And so I scooted up to the edge, and I just stood there really, really still. And I just got my camera, and I know he saw me.
Wow.
No, he knew I was there. But
Wow.
he kept walking towards me. And he was fishing. It turned out to be I looked it up, yellow crested night heron.
Yellow. So this is quite a big bird then.
Yes, yes. And
Wow.
so he was
Wow.
walking around fishing, and you know, like I said, I mean, I know he saw me. But he just kept walking.
Wow.
And I kept taking, you know, his picture, video, and you know, regular pictures, and it was really like this really magical, cool thing. And
Yes.
um,
Yes. Very anomalous.
yeah. So I looked it up when I got home because I was, you know, looking at my pictures. I got a new app on my phone that a friend of mine told me about that
Recognition. Yeah.
is called iNaturalist.
Mm.
And you submit pictures of things that you see, and it marks your location, and then that kind of goes into uh, a database
Right.
so that, you know, scientists can see, they can track,
Right.
you know, where
Right.
the
Right.
things are, which I think is really cool. But
And oh, it doesn't help you identify it as well,
yes,
or does
yes,
it?
yes.
Oh,
So
both. Okay.
that's how I found out what he was. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I looked up the heron, and you know, kind of what the meaning, because I assumed that there was a spiritual meaning for a heron.
Yeah.
And there were lots of interesting things, and one of them, the Iroquois Indians think that the heron is a symbol of wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting because I'm
Yeah.
certainly looking for wisdom, you know,
Yes.
right now
Yeah.
with my job situation. And then the Chinese think that heron symbolizes stillness and pause before you're taking action, which, hello, that was what I was doing, you know.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
for me, the symbolism of seeing it like that was, you know, because we were thinking so much about awareness and intent, and just watching him. I say him, I don't really know if it was a male or female, but
Yeah.
it was so interesting because he was aware of me,
Mm.
but he was super aware and very intent on his fishing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just watching him. I mean, his focus was amazing, and it was really cool. And I watched him catch 3 fish.
Wow.
Was really,
Wow.
yeah, and
Wow.
watched him catch it.
Wow. Wow.
I felt like for me to see that, which, you know, think of all the people that were just walking by on that path and did not see him, were not aware of him. And for me to be able to see it was like, I felt like it was the universe sending me a sign that was like, I'm here, we're connected, you're on the right path, you know, you're doing good. And it was really cool, you know, it was very cool. So I'm still in the stillness phase. I have decided for sure
Fantastic.
to tell my boss, but I didn't want to get started on that today because I wanted to get ready.
All right. Let's go over this thing with the anomaly again.
Okay.
We're jumping to module 8.
Oh, okay.
Session 2, all about anomalies and attunement. Okay. But since you have them and they're a part of your life, it is to shift the mindset. It's not about looking them up again, because when you did look it up, you pulled from the various things, you pulled what was relevant for you. So it's what it means to you, but you actually had the clue even before that. The anomaly wasn't the heron.
Right.
It wasn't that unusual to see a heron, was it? I mean, they exist, they fish.
Sure.
You see it? Sure. Okay. A little bit. The anomaly was the lady and the dog and the other lady.
Right.
Them stopping and waiting for you was about waiting. Then the lady with the dog asked the second person to wait. That's anomalous, no? That's unusual.
Right. Yeah, it was very unusual.
But look at this emphasis on wait and wait.
Right.
You see what I mean? If we just zoom out and look at the story from that symbolic abstract perception, you see, oh wow, wait and wait. That's the first thing that I heard when you said it's like, oh, that's unusual. What's the unusual part? That the lady waited for you. You had the thought, they're going to chase it away. And then they waited. Surprise. The surprise is your first clue. Then you had a double confirmation when she said to the other lady, wow, that's a double surprise. Whenever you go, wow, that's when you pay attention.
Right.
See? Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, the heron is a confirmation. It is about patience and sensibility. And he also was coming toward you. It's just to say, hey, just, in other words, take it to its end. Wait, it will come to you.
Yeah.
Be aware, be focused, and at the same time, wait and have patience. So there's a whole story in there. When you take this and write that story as a fable.
Yeah.
See? That's the mindset we want. We want to fableize these anomalies. As soon as you start to see it as a fable, the princess went down to the pond. And on the pond, she stopped, and then the courtier stopped. Suddenly it becomes metaphoric. It becomes symbolic, right? And then heron came towards it. Like, wow, okay, what's the lesson for the princess? Just chill, princess, wait, the stuff. Wisdom and sensibility, patience, focus. You don't even have to look it up to see, hey, this is a symbol for patience and focus here and attention, right? Yeah. So, and waiting, that's what makes it a good fisherman.
Exactly. Oh,
it doesn't chase.
It was so interesting to watch him because, he would
Now,
walk along, he would look, and then he'd stop, and then his face, he was just like ready,
Yes. Now, so he's not staying in one place only. He has some movement, but when he sees a movement of the fish, it stops.
Right.
So that the fish can then come to him. So it's not about being completely still.
I got to write that real quick.
Hello, Beena. Hello.
Okay, there we go. Beena, you are beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
I haven't seen you before. You are just.
Oh, thank you. I love your story and the way you are perceiving things. It could be, I feel that this story was, that situation was not for everyone. So you pick up that things and you feel those connections. This is enough.
Kay, do you enjoy writing stories?
Yes.
Fables or myths in particular?
I haven't ever done it, but I would. I think.
Well, at least like a children's type story, right?
I think I
so
should
take this instance and fableize it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, completely put it into whatever setting you want to. You can have bear, Winnie the Pooh walking down to the thing. Take the reality out of it. That it is a completely fabulous setting. You know what I mean? And you went down to the great pond or the magic pond, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Just fableize it. Like tell this incident like you're going to tell it to your first graders, but with the understanding that there's this deeper meaning to it. Again, all good fables. The kids like them and listen to them, but they always have that profound meaning to them, right?
Oh, yes.
So,
otherwise,
yeah. I mean, really do this as a task. It is a profound task. And if you start doing this more regularly with all of these anomalies, you are going to build a collection of stories that are fabulous, that are absolutely fabulous. So it's a double purpose. Now, whether you want to do something with that collection of stories or not, doesn't matter, but you'll thank me later. If you write out not just this, but the snake one and the dog one, that whole day, write them out as fables. You will get so much magic out of it. It's unbelievable.
I will. I will do it. I will do it. Okay, cool.
And it's a way also to do the same thing with past incidents that were memorable events or significant experiences.
Right.
When you go back, and now the key is, like with this there, when you told the story, you went into detail, you went into precise detail. And that's fabulous that you can do that. Very few people can, right? They get lost. They only remember the main points. But you remembered precisely where you were standing, detail, everything. This is very important when writing these stories because it triggers the moreness that was on your peripheral perception.
Right.
And it also connects you, when you start thinking about it, it connects you to the deeper insights you had at the time.
True.
So when you write the story, write it out in detail as much as you can. First, the literal story, then fableize it so that you have the core elements. Because you're going to see when you do this, when you write out in that deep detail, the moreness is going to come. It was already there. You just weren't connecting to it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to develop this mindset to say, wow, at the time, I didn't remember realizing this, but wow, I actually realized, and I've forgotten about that. You're
Yeah.
going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised at that. It's a profound thing.
Okay.
It's a profound thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
excited.
really magical thing. I have a whole post and a session, and it's going to become part of the Mourners Project as a separate course. This point of memorable events and significant experiences, and going into them, writing them, getting the mourners, everything. It's a fabulous thing. It is a profound thing. It's a profound thing. Yeah, yeah.
Memorable events and significant
Experiences. Yeah,
experiences.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a significant experience. It didn't seem like it at the time, consciously, but subconsciously, you came up and you shared it to us. You didn't emphasize that it was significant, but we were paying attention with capital H hearing, and we could clearly hear it was significant. There was no doubt about it, right?
Right.
Now, when you look back at it, it's like, holy moly, how was it not significant? What was the thing on your mind?
Right.
You were going and you were in this, the whole, and then you said, stop. And then it was like, yeah, you got your confirmation. Should I wait or not wait?
Right. Cool.
How unbelievable is it to actually get specific, direct, precise resolution to a problem that you had no way of knowing what the answer was for yourself?
Pretty cool, huh?
It is unbelievably magically cool. I mean, for me, it blows my mind every single time. To me, it's just magic.
It is.
That's it. That's just flat out magic. There's no way to logically explain it. And I don't care that it has to be logically explained. I'm
Right.
getting the value. Now,
Right.
I'll put a big, big, big point here for you.
Okay.
Take this under advisement that this is how it works. So, okay, it looks cool the first time, but be a scientist and say, let me get some proof and verification. I'm going to approach it as if it is valuable. Not that it always is, but as if. So I'm going to test it and check it and, run the science, run the experiment, right? To repeat it and see if it can hold up over multiple instances, right? I mean, you've had now 2 or 3 of them just frequently, recently. But when you really look at this in a greater detail, experiences, you're going to build up a pattern, and you're going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm on my phone and on the computer because I'm using I'm using the phone headset or not. Am I?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using the, anyway, because we went for a walk earlier, and then I put it on the phone. Yeah, it's very cool. But when you do this repeatedly and you start to see, whoa, this is just something that happened once or twice and I got value out of it, because that can happen,
Right.
but this is a regular thing, then you can learn to trust it and you can learn to live by it.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Right there, we've got that. We were talking earlier about a vital point or a capstone point, from which a funnel point from which every single thing flows. This right here, this is such a point. It is as monumental as the you are good point.
Okay.
This is why it's the end of the program. You're just starting at the end now, but okay.
Well, there you go.
We'll merge the two.
We'll merge.
The two.
Okay. Hang on, I've got to fix
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you're still going to need your patience. You're still going to need your discipline. You're still going to need your impeccability, your integrity, your perception, your discernment, your awareness, your understanding, your ability to articulate concept, to realize and to formulate those overview conceptions, which is so critical. So all of these skills are necessary to tie the starting point and the end point together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in order to use this magical skill that you've now realized, this ability, this magic that comes into your life, to use it efficiently and effectively and appropriately, you need to have the basics sorted, right? The basics of perception, the basics of awareness, not the basics, other basics, but this conceptual basics, the ability to use it appropriately, in other words.
Which, as you may remember, is kind of my main thing right now, is
Exactly.
that application and
That's why I mention it. This is an application in itself to recognize the fableness, the symbolicness, the magicness of it, the fact that there is something directly pertinent to you. Now, keep in mind, that fable only makes sense if you remember what was in your heart.
Right.
Otherwise, it's nothing, right?
Right.
It's just an interesting story, big deal. But when you put in that missing element, the whole thing blossoms. So your princess or your bear or your whoever that's in your story, your lead character, this is the proceedings part of the story. It doesn't start with you walking down to the lake. It starts the previous night, when you're up in the tower, locked away by the evil stepmother or whatever, right? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the start of the story, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's the key point.
Okay.
Otherwise, the story becomes meaningless, yes?
Right.
Yeah. It's contextual relevance, in other words.
Contextual relevance.
Relevance, yeah. It is only relevant in the context of what was on your heart, in your mind. Or in your heart and on your mind, right?
Right.
That makes it all relevant and magical and potent. Take that context away and it's like, big deal. Right?
Exactly.
Right? Okay. Very important to understand. Very important. I mean, it's still kind of interesting, but it's not truly mind-blowingly magical, life-changing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else was I going to bring up here?
There's one other point to add to this.
Okay.
In that story, it's very important that the princess or the bear or your main character, that it is made very clear that they had done everything that they possibly could to resolve their problem. And they were unable to.
Right.
They hadn't just said, oh, I need an answer, universe. And like, oh, I wish my problems were solved without me doing anything. Right?
Right.
Very important point in the story for your children. This was no lazy princess who just wanted the things to be solved for nothing. Oh, no. This princess had done everything she could on her own first.
Right.
So basically the princess was there because she was stuck, because she'd gone as far as she could go on her own. She needed extra. That's what makes those things happen. It's because you've done the work beforehand.
Right.
It's what creates it. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Because the fairies are always watching, you see. So they're the ones who arranged this and, brought the bear that was walking at a pup and paused. And Mr. Crane came. The fairies went and alerted them and say, hey, we need to connect and communicate to the princess over here.
Right. That's cool.
But they watch the princess. They keep an eye on her. If this princess ain't impeccable, ain't gonna happen. Sorry, you got work to do, princess. So yeah, there's a lot in these, and when we really realize the necessity for impeccability, it is this thoroughness of your impeccability of really going through that. And you said, I can't go any further, essentially, right? But your problem was still unresolved. Now, you actually had come to the solution, but this wasn't a magical window and opening and a revelation to you of what to do. It was actually a confirmation of what you've already decided.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
So you were basically being given, a confirmation from the world to say, you go, you got it, Kay. Yeah. Because you don't know that your decision is good. It's the only decision you could come to in the spot, but you still don't know if it is actually the correct one. This is just saying, yeah, you got it. You don't have to, be arrogant in the assumption of your decision. How cool is that?
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Fantastic. It's so much in the story. So much. So as you go through it, we'll go over it and then, we'll just keep fleshing it out. It's just fantastic muchness. So yeah,
Oh, well,
these stories are really, really, really life-changingly powerful.
they can be if we are paying attention.
Exactly. It is again contextual relevance to pay attention in the appropriate context from the appropriate awareness angle. Yeah. Paying attention in a particular way.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Something else.
Okay, let's see.
Before you go on, so let me just check if Beena doesn't have anything to add to that. Beena, you have anything to add?
Yep, I'm just listening, and again, every single time when you mention about that story and story writing and the profoundness in that, it inspires me again, like more and more and more. And I'm really looking forward, Kay, what you come up with, because you have this thing, you see things differently with a different perspective, and you see details. And I can say that now you understand that you see moreness in mundane things and common usual things, but you see moreness and you perceive that in a different way. So I'm really interested to see what beautiful stories come up when you will write that.
Okay.
Magic. That's it. No other way to describe it. Magic.
Well, one of the things that you said when I was looking through my notes was use ads, like advertisement, as an
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
ask a specific question and find the answer in abstract terms, and looking in songs and advertisement,
Right. Wait for it to come to you. Yeah.
and so I thought, well, I'm just going to test it out. So
Gotta test.
my question was, what should I do for a job? Basically, where should I look for
Oh.
support, supply?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't really watch TV that much, or whatever. So I was like, well, the only place I see ads that much are on Facebook. So I just
Brilliant.
and
Brilliant.
the first ad that came across my thing was UNICEF.
Ow.
I know.
Wow. Beena, have you ever seen a UNICEF ad? I haven't.
Yes, I saw that.
I've never seen one. Right. But they're not common, right?
Well,
Of course not common.
you know what though? I think it depends on,
Yeah, it depends on what you search. Yes.
on what you look up.
Yeah, they're custom to you. Yeah, but still.
I look up things about kids, so it was a kid.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a duh. Yeah. And Beena is a kid, so it makes all sense. Yeah.
No, but that is I used to search, and still I do search about education and all these things. So that's how I got all these type of addresses. And I'm very, very cautious about what I search on Facebook, because I really don't want my timeline to be like, no, I don't want anything.
Right.
Not required, undesired. Yeah.
I know. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
But
So every now and then, just to thwart that, sorry to break your story, but search for random things. I have a friend who does this deliberately. He'll just put in a random search just to mess up the algorithm. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay, I'm going to write that.
Just to mess up. Got it.
Now, if you're searching for children, then the next thing you search is, I don't know what's the opposite of children, but
Old people.
Old people, I guess, or TV stars, or you'll search up cats, dogs, clowns. You'll just suck random things up. Whatever comes. So yeah. But that's brilliant, though. So UNICEF, thing is, it's what you notice. That's the key point.
Right.
It's not what was there; it's what you noticed, because there's a bunch of ads, right? It's what jumped out at you, right? And I'm assuming if you carry on with the story, there's some abstract relevance to it, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I really just did this right before we started talking, and so I looked at it, and it was so interesting, and they had a tab for employment, and so I just clicked on the tab. Oh my goodness, so interesting. And they have, I mean, it's sort of beyond my wildest imagination to think of such a thing. But you know, they have jobs all over the world, of course, you know, because it's international. And you know, Erica and I have been talking for a long time about doing something somewhere else, you know.
I do remember you saying you wanted to travel as well. It was
Right.
a
And
big
I am
deal for you.
interested in traveling. So it's kind of a mind-blowing idea, you know. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you know. But it was so interesting, and it definitely opens your thought to possibilities, different possibilities.
Yes. Yes. And look at the power of what you did.
Yeah,
You asked the question, and okay, you saw the UNICEF ad, but then you go and there's a thing for employment. I didn't know that they advertise for employment like that.
well,
It's
I
like,
didn't.
wow, wow. Plus, it connects to the all over the world thing, which is a powerful thing for you. So, yeah, you've got, well, if that's not like your dream job, working with children, education all over the world, it's like, hello, duh, duh, duh. I mean, how much more obvious and simple can it get?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of interesting. So we'll see. We shall
This
see.
princess lives in a fabled magical world.
There you go. There you go. Well, okay, so that kind of leads to the next thing, which
Oh, there's
when I,
more. There's more.
when I looked at my notes, I was looking back at my notes from the last session, and I think there were several people on talking about this and talking about recognizing our own patterns of resistance.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
here I saw this thing, and it was like, you know, jobs all over the world doing things with kids, and my immediate reaction was, oh, you know, oh my goodness, oh, you know, woo. And so, I mean, even though it was totally fascinating to me, I felt a resistance. I felt a
Yeah. Yeah.
pulling back, a hesitant feeling.
And can I make my appropriate face for like what the hell? Okay, I don't know. Beena, can you help me here? I need to make a face for like, why are you resisting this exactly? I'm seriously, why? I really want to know why. It really confounds me.
Why I feel hesitant
Yeah, and resistant.
and resistant. Well, do you remember we talked one day about you know, talking about relationships and how I think that it's possible to have these great relationships for other people, but not for me. And
Yeah.
I think it's that same, I think that's that same, speaking of patterns, you know, I think there's a pattern there of, I don't know what it, you know, like lack of self-confidence or, you know, something that just makes me think that all these great things out there are very possible and real for other people, but they don't come to me. And I don't know why I think that, but
So Beena called up head office there, and she said, "Hello, head office. You know, the subject over here, okay." She put in a request to you guys over there, and well, you kind of delivered. Thank you. That was really awesome. But we got a problem here. And they're like, "What do you mean? We gave her exactly what she wanted." And like, what's the problem? They don't feel worthy. Head office doesn't know what to say. They're like, but I don't know. What can we do different? So head
well,
office is like, well, how can we get the message that I don't know. It's not even our power to make them feel worthy of the opportunity that's there for them. That's up to them.
right.
The opportunity itself cannot make you feel worthy of it.
Right.
You wanted something, you're getting it. There it is, right in front of you. If you can't take it and seize it and act on it, there's nothing that. How is? Let's just you were talking and saying you're going to wait and let things come to you. How is it even more that it must like do you need to be begged to do it? Do you need to be forced to do it? You see what I mean?
I know.
Right, right. So let's look at why you don't feel it's worthy of you. I mean, let's really go into that. I
Okay.
mean, I kind of tease a little bit just to make the ridiculousness of it really apparent, right?
Yes.
If you wrote this into your story, actually do this. Continue your story of this part. Include this that you went to the oracle, and the oracle did this, right?
Right.
Add it into the story. It's very powerful because now, if we continue the story, how does the princess resolve her dilemma, Yana?
Right. Okay, I'm writing. Well, that is the question, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, again, if you write it into your story, hey, you just end the story there. That'd be a horrible ending and a ridiculous part in the story. It's like, what the hell were you thinking? Yeah. So, right? So it needs resolution to make sense in the story.
Yes.
If you now start, this is why this is so powerful. Now, when you have this external view of your character, and you, of course, it's you now in the story, but as a character, you get this external perspective. When we start looking things externally, what you do, that it seems kind of totally okay, and but in your character, it is so preposterous and ridiculous you can hardly even write it. Right? I mean, it's just the way it is. It's not unique to you, Kay. It's all of us. That's why I'm recommending this mechanism. It
Right.
is a magical thing when we start to have an external perspective on us. It is why these repeat backs and takeaways are so powerful, because you are getting to express yourself, and in the expression, when you put it out there, you get to see it.
Right. You can hear yourself.
That extra perspective changes everything. And you've already written it down. That's the first step. So it's a compounding effect. So it's really powerful. So now we've got to resolve this dilemma for the princess here, because otherwise the story ain't going anywhere. It just collapses, right?
Right.
So why does the princess feel unworthy?
Well, I don't think it's because she really is.
Well, no, duh. I mean, did they have a little clause in there that says this is available to anybody except Captain Patrick?
I did not know. I didn't
What's
see.
that?
I didn't.
No, exactly. I'm pretty sure it's not there, right?
No, not there. Although a lot of them, several of them would say that it was available only to someone who was a national of that country.
Yeah, fair enough. But surely you'd think they'd have some available for American nationals at some point.
Available to anybody.
Yeah, correct. But that's a technicality. But nonetheless, it's there, available to you. They didn't exclude you. That's the point. They didn't exclude you.
No exclusion clause.
Yeah, no exclusion clause. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, technically, you could go and apply to be a member of that country if you really wanted the job badly enough.
Well, all right. Maybe there isn't really a reason. Maybe it's a habit.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes the answers are too simple and too idiotic for us to accept.
Right.
I mean, we have to understand preposterousness, and that preposterousness is a very real thing, and it's actually a part of our lives. I mean, look at our politics. If we didn't get a universal lesson in preposterousness to really, we are getting it like every single day, right? Preposterousness exists. Now, that's negative preposterousness.
Right.
But isn't magic a positive preposterousness?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Positive preposterousness. That's a hard thing.
Yes. I know, but it's a fun word, preposterousness. I don't know. It just sounds, I don't know. I love that word. It's a very magical word. But truly, now look at just the heron. You're meeting with Mr. Heron. What a fabulous magical preposterousness.
True.
That lady saying wait, or her first waiting, then telling the other lady to wait. People very, very seldom will take it upon themselves to actually, instruct others in a random situation like that. It is ridiculously rare. It is preposterous in a measure, right? So anomalies are preposterous. anomalies are magical. Magic is preposterous. And when we realize that the preposterous is possible, we see the negative preposterous. It's, Donald Trump is very magical to me in some ways. He's so preposterous. He's like a magical villain out of a fable. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we need to recognize the magic part, not the negativity part, or that usual preposterousness which implies a negative thing. No, this is positive preposterous. We need to recognize in magic, in your anomalies, in this way of living, there's positive preposterousness.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Positive
Yeah.
preposterous.
So you have it in your life. You've had this for a long time, right?
Yes.
You just haven't recognized it as such. Now, from the universe's point of view, it's saying, it's feeding you this stuff. It's putting it at you, and it's saying, it's putting it there in front of you. Why you?
Because I'm asking?
Because you're worthy. You
Oh,
think the universe would give it to you if you were unworthy?
okay.
I mean, like, duh, right? I mean, seriously, that's a huge duh, right? You
Yeah.
couldn't possibly be getting this magic if you were unworthy of it. That's why you've had it all your life. It's like the universe trying to give you this. It's like, oh man, I'm tired. Finally, she's getting it. It's like, oh, man, I can go to the beach finally. You see what behind me? My beach shirt on. It's appropriate. Okay, finally I can relax, Beena. All that work we've been doing back at the head office there. Finally, we get our vacation. But seriously, it is like that. If you look at the pattern of our lives, there's usually a repeated pattern. And that pattern is just trying to tell you something and you're not learning the lesson. And it just repeats.
Oh, I know.
So the get it is that, why? Okay, if you aren't worthy, what makes you different to anybody else who is worthy? Let's ask it in that way. Because we want the bureaucrats are saying, yeah, but we aren't worthy. And they just believe it. But they have a peculiar logic. So give me an example of somebody who would be worthy for that. Like one of the other teachers that you teach with, if they went and said, oh, you know what, I'm going to go join UNICEF and, go and do jobs in UNICEF and whatever, maybe go over the world. And what would you say to them?
Great. Awesome. What a great idea. Go for it.
And how are they different to you?
They're not. We were talking about politics.
I don't want to say duh again, but but I did.
We were talking about how I was interested in politics, which is so bizarre. What a bizarre idea for me to be.
Yeah.
But
whoa! On what is that? Based on what? Sorry, you said what a bizarre idea for me, but based on what? Sorry.
Well, first of all, based on the fact that I have always just hated politics and thought it was just like nasty, dirty, like you don't want to touch it, ooh, icky. And
is that all of politics, or is that one particular part or version or side of it?
Most of what I have ever seen in my life appears to be that. And obviously, I don't think that is always the case, but there's, in Oklahoma, I'm sorry, and I'm sure it's bad everywhere, but you want to talk about the good old boy stuff and
because of the oil politics. Oklahoma is definitely one of the worst. Correct.
Awful.
Yeah.
So but I got really fired up about it when I was campaigning and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of when we did the walkout too. And teachers were starting to run for office. Tons of people kept telling me, you should run for office. You should run. And I'm going, no, me? Are you, no.
Yeah.
And so, I do that. I have a habit. And I see that we're talking about, it's not just a pattern, but pattern provides a mindless path.
Entrenchment. That's our word of the day. It came up with Erica Jane, right? Yeah. Well, she's looking to entrench positivity, but we can get entrenched in nonsense. And it's just it. It's no other reason than simple, mindless, repetitive, entrenched habit.
Right. And see, mindless. That's the key to me, because that's whatever is.
But it's avoidance of responsibility. That's really the bottom line. Tell you now already. I'll give you some free perspective. I try not to give advice or offer my opinion, but in my opinion, that's what it's the bottom line
Is lack of responsibility.
Avoidance of responsibility. Avoidance of responsibility, not lack of it. You're very responsible, but you want to avoid it.
Okay.
Because it can be overwhelming.
Right. Well, and I think that's where self-trust comes in.
Exactly.
I have a little bit of a problem with that.
Exactly. If you take on what, like when people say to you, oh, run for office, that's a massive responsibility. But if you don't trust yourself to fulfill that responsibility, how can you do it?
Right.
You can't. Okay. So we'll do self-trust. We'll get into self-trust very specifically.
I think that's a really big thing for me.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is fabulous. This is fabulous. This is absolutely fabulous.
Okay. All right.
This is very, very exciting. All right. By the way, real quick, when you look at politicians, people who run for office, the ones who want it the most, are they usually the best candidates?
The ones who want it the most?
Oh, volunteer and say, me. I typically want it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
The ones who don't want it, that get pushed into it, those are usually the best candidates. The ones that says, no, not me. Those are the ones you want to be the candidates, right?
This is a good point. Yes.
So does that make you a good candidate?
Maybe.
Exactly. It does. It makes you an excellent candidate. You want to run on a platform. You say, I'm running because I didn't want to do this.
Right.
Because, I always thought it was for other people. And then I realized, but those who want it are the exact ones who don't want it. It's somebody who doesn't want it. They're the ones who really care, but they know it's a big job. They know there's a lot of responsibility. They're irresponsible jerks that cause all the problems. They don't care about responsibility. They don't care about you. They're just in it for themselves. So they're the exact wrong ones. The ones that don't want to do it, that's who you want to be in there. What a campaign, what a platform. Very simple platform. I'm here because I don't want to be here. Because I care, because I'm responsible.
Really and true. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm diligent, I'm thorough, I'm earnest, I work hard. This is a big job. Who in their right mind would want this? I just realized this, and I got caught up in my own logic to say, well, people said you got to run. And I said, no. The more I said no, the more I realized that I had no real choice but to do it. I'm just running through if you did decide to go that way. Going through as a campaign, it's very simple, so.
It's true. And, we have kind of gotten to the point where there almost isn't a choice for people. I mean, somebody got to step up and take
Exactly. Exactly. And you can be the McDonald's of politicians.
The McDonald's of politicians.
Yeah. So, what is it that made McDonald's really, really successful? Did McDonald's actually, literally, specifically, Kroc Brothers, what are they called? Kroc? No.
Yeah, I can't remember their names. Oh.
Yeah, it's something with a K, like Kroc or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, let's just call them the Kroc Brothers for now. Did they say that and set out in their intent to make good food? No, they did not. They actually did not. Seriously, they realized that the secret to fast food was not to make good food, but not to make bad food. Consistency. This is what they realized was the trick. You knew what you were getting, and you would get it every single time. So you say, look, I'm not necessarily the greatest expert on all policy or stuff, but I am definitely not bad. I'm not going to mess it up. And I'm going to work. I'm going to be diligent. What is mostly the work of a politician? It's administration, really. It's pretty simple. You listen to the people and you do what they want. I'm not here for my ideas. I'm here for your ideas. This is not hard to figure out what the public want. You just look at any polls, referendum, stuff like that. It's not a problem. So really, I'm there to make sure that your wishes get put into place, not mine. If you got a politician who's got a whole zillion bunch of ideas, they are after their own agendas, not yours. So I'm here to work for you and to work for you. Very simple. That's it. I know how to work. I know how to do. I've got common basic sensibility. I'm honest, I'm reliable, I'm diligent, I'm thorough, I'm responsible. What the hell more do you want? Isn't this who you want there? You don't want the people that have all this kind of crazy stuff going on, because what they do, they mess everything up, you know. If there are really profound good ideas, part of my job would be to look for those people to, you know, put together a research or study or whatever, you know, and have people come to me and present the ideas. Okay, you got a brilliant idea, fine. Go get a petition, get 1 million signatures. I'll get it put in for you, no problem. It's the very simple stuff. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So it's amazing. It's really, really, really is amazing. You know, it really is astonishing. You know?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if that, again, I don't necessarily say this is something to do. You know, again, it's not for me to say. Only you can say that. But when we start to think of it in this, I'm using it as a perspective leveraging mechanism to say that sometimes the very fact that you aren't special is what makes you appropriate.
Right.
Right. You know, I mean, I'm saying you're not special, so go for it. That's just you, the one that we want there. Somebody who's not particularly the special ones. No, I don't want them there. They're troublemakers. You know, the fact that you are just regular, genuine, ordinary, fabulous, magical, diligent, responsible, honest, ethical, sensible person. This is who we want.
Right.
That's it. It's really simple, you know. I mean, politics is truly about admin. You know, people think it's all leadership. Nah, very seldom, you know. The people lead. The people lead. In business, you can have leadership, but in politics, no, you work for the people. That's it. You know? So the people are actually the leaders. This idea that the politician is a leader, it's a mistake. It's a wrong thing. No,
It should not be.
they're the servant. No, they're the servant. That's it. You're there to serve the people. That's your job. And if you do that thoroughly and properly, the whole system wins. It's very simple. You know.
All right. You are so right.
Yeah. Yeah. Very simple. Very simple. And you say, hey, you know what? I've been teaching kindergarten. What the hell? I'm going to Congress. I'm totally qualified.
Right. Well, my friend that I've campaigned for, she taught kindergarten, and she taught, and she taught other grades, but and so have I. Yeah. But I mean, she's great. She's awesome.
Exactly. But my point is, if you're going to Congress and you tell the voters to say, hey, you're voting for me to go to Congress. I'm just saying, let's assume you run for Congress, right?
Right.
And you say, I'm going to Congress, and I'm a kindergarten teacher. This is what makes me qualified.
Right, it does. I'm telling you, for real.
Exactly. You got a bunch of children in Congress.
I know how to deal with 4-year-old minds.
Exactly. And we got a 4-year-old. I said, come on, this is the thing, you know. That's it. You know, there's another benefit. When you are outside of the system and you campaign on this and you say, I'm outside of the system, how is a lobbyist going to come to me and you know, make those little snide and side jokes and say, you know, wink, wink, if you do this. And, you know, I'm not going to get what they're talking about. I have no clue about all that skullduggery and nincompoopy. They're going to have to come straight out and tell me, say, hey, you know what, we have to bribe you. Here's a bribe for us. And are they even going to offer it to me? Because they know that to offer it to me, there's no chance. I'm probably going to call the FBI on them. You know, and they can't do it. So this is another reason why you want people like me who are not part of that nonsense. You know, that old boy network club, it's just, there's no way the lobbyists are going to have any shot at me whatsoever. Right. You know?
Yeah, good point.
Simple things. Yeah. I thought about this a lot, so, you know.
Go lay down.
Yeah. So it's very fascinating point, you know. And then, you know, you start bringing in things like impeccability and all of this, all of your dictionary of power that we're going to develop into your language. It just changes everything. Say, hey, you voting for me, not because of my knowledge and my specific skills, but because of my character.
Right.
People can make you all sorts of promises, but one thing they can't promise is character.
Well, they can promise it, but they may not deliver.
They can't deliver, exactly. That's a promise they can't deliver on if they don't have it. And if you're voting for somebody because of promises and you can't see that they can deliver it, then you're wasting your time. They need to have the character to deliver on the promise. And the promise for you is just simple decency and sensibility and responsibility and diligence and doing the work. There's a lot of work in being a politician, you know? Yes. Yeah. So I'm making the case here that I'm making a case for you to be, you know, like go to Congress or Senate, whatever. Okay. I'm making a good case, am I not?
You're making a good case. You are.
Okay. So If I'm making a good case for you to go to the Senate or to Congress,
Mhm.
anything else is a piece of cake.
There you go. UNICEF, piece of cake. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. If you're qualified, and I've really made a sincere case for you being qualified to go to Congress, yes?
Yes.
I mean, I made a sincere case for it. It's a real, genuine thing. So you could just say, well, okay, well, I might want to go to Congress because I don't want to be on TV and cameras and all of this crap, right? I don't want all that nonsense. Okay, that's legitimate. That's a fair enough reason. It's a sad reason why people go out of it, because really people like you, I wish more people like the person that you campaign for, you know, and I do see them in Congress. This last Congress had a whole plethora of them, you know, just regular people that stepped up. The one that my favorite is, she saw this jackass, you know, misogynist, racist guy, and he said, oh, you know, women shouldn't run for office, they belong in the kitchen, or some nonsense like that. You know, he used this belong in the kitchen line. And she was a transgender, I don't know, she was like the very opposite of an anti-candidate that you could possibly imagine, you know, no job, whatever. And she says, I'm going to run just because of that comment. And that's what she campaigned on. And she
Wow.
beat him. She beat him. She beat him.
Awesome.
I love it. It's my favorite story. I just absolutely love it. That comment motivated her and energized her to say, no, bloody hell no. Yeah, that's it. Just because you said that to me, oh man,
Yeah,
I just thought so.
that's awesome.
So, and this is good. This is what you want, you know. Yeah, it's very awesome. Very awesome. Anyway, so, but again, now, like I said, you know, UNICEF becomes a piece of cake when you realize that, you know, you're actually qualified for pretty much anything.
Okay.
It's not your skills, it's not your knowledge, it's not your wisdom that qualifies you, it's your character.
Great. Okay.
Haven't we already established you're a good person?
Yes, we have. Okay, I'm
Life
writing.
is easy.
Character is what? I'm doing handwritten notes, and I just keep.
Brilliant. So I've said this to many employers. I said character is what you look for in as a qualification for any position, any task, any job. It's character that counts. The rest you can learn. So if somebody's in charge in any position, you can employ people if you've got good character, right? You making the decisions. You can employ people or hire them or, you know, contract them to find you the solutions. There's a lot of geniuses out there. You can find solutions from anywhere. But you need somebody you can trust to actually make those decisions to do that. If they're not trustworthy, then the whole thing falls apart. So you don't want somebody there who's got necessarily the skills and the wisdom, because you might have a guy who's very clever and sneaky, or a woman, but they lack character, and then what do you get? You get a mess, right? So it's character that makes the decision to find the actual, you know, solutions. That there's plenty study groups and universities and brainiacs and all that. That's easy. But to have somebody who's making the final decision, that's where you need somebody with trust. Because sometimes the right decision is a difficult decision. That's where you need to have good character. That's where you need to have impeccability. So it's character that is the core determinant. And I've really given this, you know, to as a from an advice point of view, when in the appropriate circumstance, I like employers to say, when it comes to hiring practices, pay attention to character. The skills are relevant. They can always learn the skills. If they have good character, they'll want to learn. They'll be able to learn because they'll be diligent and thorough and you know, patient and all this. So character is the chief determinant. Nothing else. People tend to confuse knowledge and skills and wisdom. Nah, that you can always learn. Character is what you need. And myself too, I would always employ based on character. I didn't care what skills people had. I just employed them based on character.
Right. Well, I think that's absolutely true. I think that's
yeah, exactly. Again, you take just your school teaching job, right? Let's say it got to a point where it's so bad that they had to say, okay, you know, your qualifications go out the window. We'll pretty much take anybody. And they open the doors. But, you know, if you were in charge of hiring people, you would just say, you got good character, fine, you qualify. You're going to be good for the kids.
Exactly. And I have actually seen that happen.
Yeah. I would say I'm not surprised if you hadn't actually seen that happen.
Yeah. You know, you can pick up the skills. If you have a brain in your head, you can learn the skills.
Exactly. And, you know, you don't even have to have much of a brain. You could just teach them good character and you just communicate that, you know. Just hanging out with you would be good, you know. Right. So even if you're making a mess of the content, if people see you being diligent and thorough and persevering, and I've seen teachers like this, And, you know, the kids love them, and they said they don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to the content, but they love the character of the person. They see them trying and all that, and they respected those teachers who kind of were clueless but kept trying and plugging away, being diligent, making an effort. Just that is enough. Just that is enough. So
Yep,
it's
it
amazing.
is.
So yeah, so that's what we're going to focus on. Kay's character.
All right, I'm making a big star next to that.
Yeah.
So, and I need to trust my own character.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I think I mean, I trust. I think I say I'm good. I'm whatever, but there's something in there that I'm like.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what you just said is a life-changing thing.
So,
See, it came out so casually. He said, you know, I think I need to trust my character. You know, we need big flashlights and, you know, fireworks for that. Yeah, and a huge big Beena as well. But I want to emphasize this, that sometimes the profound, the sublime, it slips in the mundane, and it comes so casually. But what you said was absolutely fundamentally hugely profound. It's so simple, but it's so huge. We've got to learn to really practice the skill of recognizing the profound in the mundane and the simple and the casual. What you just said is a massive life-changing perspective. One simple, tiny little thing. I need to trust my character. Duh. It's like, you know, it's so huge, you know. But again, when you actually think of it consciously and you start to unravel that and you say, well, let me actually take this, and now everything changes. Right there in that one simple single moment, your entire life changes now. You realize suddenly, you said earlier, I need self-trust. Oh, you know what? I was actually basing my self-trust on what? On skills, on perceptions of others, on qualifications, on awards, on, you know, achievements. Inappropriate. Yeah. Your character is the ultimate accomplishment.
character is the ultimate accomplishment.
Yes. What a nice quote for you right there.
I like it. I'm writing it down.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, me too. I'm going to add it to my quote file. Actually, I like that very much. I don't think I ever said it in those that terms. See, look, I'll show you. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm noticing, remembering something, because I wrote it down when Erica was just talking with you one time, and I was in the other room, and I just heard it, and I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure you said joy. Joy is the ultimate.
It's the ultimate accomplishment. Yes.
So,
yes.
Is character and joy, are those
if you have real profound deep character and you take joy in your character, then yes, they are going to be the same thing. Yeah. So I think my precise quote, to be technical here, is joy is an ultimate accomplishment.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to clear up this apparent contradiction.
It's not a contradiction to me. I see it as being
one and the same. Right.
Yeah.
You can only have joy, real capital J joy, when your character's sorted.
Right.
If your character's in a mess, if it's in contradiction, then how can you have joy? Because you're going to have doubts, you're going to have, you know, self-recriminations, you're going to feel unfinished. No, but when you got your character sorted, in other words, when you feel impeccable, joy comes automatically. So joy is the culmination of the achievement of character. Yeah.
See, you're saying a lot of good stuff here. I got to write this down. The culmination of development. I really like that.
It all fits together. So this is something that I love. It's one of my favorite parts of the program. It is when the connectivity start to come. You remember, Beena? You remember? Beena?
Yes.
It's like suddenly everything starts to connect. It all starts to connect. You see, like character and joy, we're connecting it now. and we're connecting it with impeccability. That's if you take character and you follow a path, a way. The way of impeccability is the path of taking your character where it's now to joy. Yeah. You flesh it out. You continue on this path, which is the way of impeccability. Of course, you're going to get to joy because it's a path of character. It's what it's all about. Yeah. But seeing the connectivities, it's like that explosion suddenly in this whole different world. It's like, whoosh, and everything starts to connect.
There was a word that just sort of kept coming up in my mind when I was reading back on my notes and everything, and that was exponential.
Yes.
And that when we start to incorporate these things into our own selves and our own experience, that it's just exponential.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes. Oh.
It's not.
I love exponential.
It's not a 1 + 1 + 1. It's it's multiplication. It's not addition.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I love this. It's a thing I did with my employees many times. I said, okay, let's talk salary. Let's talk wages. All right. So Catherine, Patrick, we're employing you as a representative for our company. Okay, but here's the deal. We're going to pay you. Either we're going to give you a salary of, I don't know, pick a good salary. You can choose.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not good at that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll pay you, let's say, we'll give you 100,000 a month.
Oh my, that's a pretty good salary. Yes.
Okay. You like that? That sounds pretty good. Okay. All right. Or we'll give you 1 penny on day 1. 1 penny. 1 penny on day 1, 2 pennies on day 2, 4 pennies on day 3, and so on.
Right.
All right. Monthly, not infinite, just monthly.
Right.
So this is your choice.
Yeah, definitely exponentially would be the way to go.
Are you sure?
No, because I haven't figured it out mathematically, but.
Okay, because it's only for the month. It's not to infinity. It's only for a month, right? Not for infinity.
I don't even know how to figure that out, but I could if I sat down and thought about it.
Right. Okay. So, but so you still want to stick with the infinite, since it's not infinite, it's just for the month. You still want to stick with the exponential?
Yep.
Okay. So after a week, you're going to have, I think it's like $1.24.
Okay.
After 1 week, you get $1.24, and then after 2 weeks, you're going to be paid. If we start adding it up, the 2 weeks, it will be like, I think it's $14, something like that.
Okay.
Like maybe $82. And then I think after 3 weeks, Beena, can you remember what it was after 3 weeks? It was like a couple of $100 instead of the 100,000 now.
Well, okay.
Well, it's after 3 weeks. So you still want to stick with it?
Sure.
Okay. We want to bump it up to $1 million. You sure? How about $1 million a month?
$1 million a month? Wow. I don't know.
Well, just by the logic of it, if I'm prepared to offer you $1 million a month, just by implication, it's a worse deal because I wouldn't offer it, right?
Right. Good.
Okay. So if you stick with this, on day 31, I think you end up with 10 billion.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. If you keep going, by the way, you get to 1 trillion after 40 days.
Wow. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, you get 1 trillion pennies, which is, whatever. But, I think if you go to 44, you get $1 trillion. So, yeah. So isn't that something?
That is something.
Within a month and a half, you get to $1 trillion. Yeah. So exponential is a big deal. Now, it's a very fun exercise, and I go into the detail of it. Usually, I have the chart. I couldn't find it right away where I have it. I've got it on a spreadsheet where I can look through and see, and you see that growth of it. It's incredible. But usually, the key is that I'm emphasizing this to make the next point. Learning is also exponential.
Exactly.
The other key point is it's always slow in the beginning.
That's true too.
Yeah. The exponential curve, you know what that looks like, right? Visually. It's got that flat part and then suddenly it gets a little bit and then it kicks up and it goes all steep, right? That's the magic, is that it's not uniform, that curve. at first you barely notice that there is even a curve. It's pretty flat at the start. And then it starts to slightly rise, and then suddenly it goes steep, and then it ends up vertical, pretty much, or near vertical. So this is the same thing with learning. We have to understand that learning is also exponential.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
This is where our self-trust comes from. One of the key factors of our self-trust is understanding that learning is exponential.
Okay, I'm coming back to that. Hold on. I'm still flipping back and forth between my.
No problem. No problem. Beena, make a note, please. I want to add that to the self-trust course, just as a quote.
Okay, so now.
Did you hear, Beena?
Yes.
Will you say it again about self-trust?
Our self-trust, one of the factors that we base our self-trust on is an understanding that learning is exponential.
Oops. Good point. Good point. I can see that. So
Just trust it. Just trust it. Keep learning, and it will come.
it looks
All right. So
now we know it's going to.
exactly. In other words, little by little leads to leaps and bounds.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, it's one that kids like too. They like that. Because you hear like parents say, "Oh, little by little." It's like, yeah. And I used to say that, because I understood patience. I always used to say little by little. But by implication, then somebody said, I don't care for that. And I don't want little by little. I said, yeah, but it leads to leaps and bounds. And then I changed it. And then I started adding that too. So, yeah. At first I said little by little leads to more and more. But leaps and bounds is more fun.
No, it's good. You got the alliteration going in there.
Exactly. I love alliteration, and I look for it. And, we'll come to self-quoting. It's a skill that we have to learn, or not have to, but it's very useful to learn. And it really changes your brain. So you see, that's why the things come out that way. I've really made an effort to train my brain to do this. And there's a greater logic to it. It's fractal conceptualizing, but we'll get into it when we do that.
Okay. Well, it's kind of a memory tool too.
It's a mnemonic tool. Exactly. A quote. It is a profound mnemonic device if appropriately structured. So yeah, you're doing it deliberately. That's why alliteration in quotes and assonance, whichever way you pronounce it, same thing. You want to use that too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so before our time is up, I want to finish up our the slides from this last one, so we can move on to number 2. And I'm looking to see where we were. Oh, I know what it was. Not always nice.
Correct. Good is not always nice. Another quote of mine that I love.
That is a good one. Yes. So my repeat back was, sometimes we learn the hard way because of our stubbornness or hesitation. During these times, it's helpful to remember that our motivation is to learn and become aware. And so even if something comes to you that seems not nice or not fun or not pleasant or whatever, if your motivation is to learn from it, it doesn't matter whether it's nice or not nice. That's
exactly.
And I have a note in there too about learning by non-example. You can learn by example or non-example. And sometimes you have to look at something and think, okay, what do I want to not do? Or how do I want to not?
Yes.
That's really important.
Yes. What is the non-decision of UNICEF?
Non-decision. Okay.
What is the non-decision of it? If you don't choose that, what do you, by implication or by default, have to then choose?
If I choose to not even go there or even think about it?
Correct. What is the non-choice of that? Yeah.
Stay in the same place.
Boring, same old, repeat, struggle,
Yeah.
what I don't want.
Right.
Right. So if you have a trouble making a decision, and look at it in this context and say, you are actually deciding on a bunch of crap. And now you're screwed, right?
Yep, now I'm screwed.
Because exactly, but I really mean that. You're in
No,
a conundrum now, because this awareness of non-choice, saying, I didn't realize that now I have to choose one or the other. Before it was, I stay the same or choose. And you thought stay the same was kind of safe, and the choice was risk versus. It's not. It's not. The non-choice is not a safe choice. It's a horrible, life-destroying choice.
Right.
Can you honestly and legitimately do that?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not my opinion. That's yours. But okay.
It is.
It's like, exactly.
Right.
But when we learn to leverage ourselves, in other words, in this way, and say, wow, now suddenly the whole thing changed. It's like at the end of the day, when you start to look at this non-choice thing, to choose this, it's like, it's actually the easiest thing to choose, not the hardest thing. Right now, it seems like a hard choice. But when you look at it in the context of the non-choices, it becomes, oh, well, hell, that's a simple choice for me. Thank you. It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. See your point. See your point there.
Self-leverage. I want to put this under the power dictionary, your power term of self-leverage. It is a most incredible thing. That's what we just did now. You use non-choice to leverage yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to
You
work
kind
on
of bumped yourself up into where that decision was, it seemed hard and difficult. It seemed like a choice. But when you looked at it in the context of the non-choice, suddenly the perspective shifted and the whole balance of the world shifted. And that choice, where it was like this thing before, now it's like, wow, that's the easy choice, right?
Right. I see.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? It's the effect on your psychology that I'm after, not the decision making.
Right.
The mechanism, the technique to leverage ourselves. Perspective shifting is such a technique. Yes.
Perspective shifting.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Perspective shifting.
all right. Okay.
I was going to say, we always wanted a magic wand as a kid. Well, okay, this is actually a magic wand that I have in my hand. Literally. Yeah. But okay, we always wanted a magic wand. This is one type of magic wand, but the other kind is perspective shifting. Perspective shifting is that real magic wand that we wanted as a kid, and that you wave and everything changes. Look what you just did with the job and the non-choice. Suddenly that whole decision, that entire world where it was this impossible choice, it suddenly became the easiest choice.
Right.
Cool. Can't go into the other choice like, yeah. It's so amazing. Perspective shifting, really incredible. Love.
Okay, so self-leverage and perspective shifting are closely.
Yes. They married. Yes. They're very intricately linked. All of the terms in your dictionary of power are linked in some way. A way of impeccability, just the concept of impeccability. It is a perspective shift on energy usage.
Right.
And energy usage, what are we talking about? Leverage again?
Right.
Using your energy efficiently, effectively, leverage. You want to get the maximum return on investment for your energy usage. That's leverage, right? So everything is connected. All of these terms in the dictionary of power. And by the way, on your file there, it's K's dictionary of power.
I got it. It says that.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm just checking because it's not my dictionary of power or Beena's or the way of impeccabilities. There is a separate thing that's called the way of impeccability dictionary of power, but that's just putting everybody's individual dictionaries of power together, which is just for our fun and enjoyment. But yeah,
I've got 3 files that start with WOI, way of impeccability, just so I
correct.
can.
Yes,
so WOI.
But not the dictionary of power.
No, but I said WOI K's dictionary.
Nice. Yeah. Just to be really a little bit fiddly here, Mr. A says, it's K's way of impeccability, dictionary of power.
But then if I do that, it doesn't.
I know it goes in your file. I know. All right, fair enough.
As long as in my
So it
mind.
could be WOI colon K's WOI dictionary of power.
Okay, I can do that. I can fix that.
Yeah. I mean, then it makes sense, right? But okay, it works either way. Yeah. I'm just being a little fiddly for fun. Yeah.
No, it's important. It's important.
It is important because it's your dictionary of power. It's very important. It's very important because in those entries are what makes sense to you. And they're not just terms, they can be phrases as well, or, compound terms, like believing without believing or trusting without trusting. Those are incredible, those compound conceptions of commitment, I call them. They are very powerful. So there are many like that. Yeah.
Those are the ones that are hyphenated?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
And, sometimes it might be a mnemonic phrase, like so, or something like compound exponential learning, compound learning.
Right.
This is something for the dictionary of power, So it's a very profound understanding. It's an awareness to be aware of that such a thing as compound learning exists. Just that awareness alone blows it up.
True.
Yeah. So that goes in there. Yeah. Self-trust, same thing, really.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to the next one. When we see the big picture, the grand scheme of it all, oh boy, we stop resisting the learning process. We begin to see how and when we are resisting, which of course is what we're talking about. We see the forces of life and how to connect to this force for our own advancement and benefit. And that was where, that's obviously what we've been talking about. My comment was, I love the idea of learning to recognize my own patterns of resistance.
Yeah.
I just think that's huge.
Yes. I'll give you another nice little, I was thinking of short phrases that can go into dictionary of power. Right. Awareness is self-curative.
Awareness
is self-curative.
Self-curative. Well,
yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. We can put it into a term which would be self-curative awareness.
Right.
Yeah. So in this case, being aware of your patterns of resistance is self-curative.
Talk about magical. How cool is that?
Exactly. Thank you. I don't always want to make the obvious. I know that's my job, but that's exactly. It is unbelievably magical. You don't have to do anything. You just have to become aware of it. And in that moment that you become aware, oh my goodness, if I know what my patterns of resistance are, the moment I know it, it's gone, it changes, and I can do it.
Yeah,
it's a fabulous thing.
Awareness is. You can't because you're aware.
Exactly. Awareness is self-curative, especially if you're honest. Or at least I should say, not especially, but it's predicated on honesty. Right. Awareness is not self-curative for the dishonest.
True.
They can say, and they can deny it, and they start lying and fudging and confabulating and creating all this nonsense to try and make a truth into an untruth, or an untruth into a truth. They try this fiction, and of course it doesn't work. So,
right.
Yeah.
Which politics, we've seen a lot of that lately too.
Oh yes.
Dear.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Self-awareness leads us to see that we are much more than we ever knew. We also see that the world, including ourselves, doesn't work the way we thought it did. As we become more aware, we see that we are so much more than we ever knew.
And right there, again, it's one of those simple little things that you're reading it like you're just reading something. But it's a funnel point to a life change.
Right.
I'm more than I thought I was. That's not an idea or a belief. That's a fact. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
All right, let's see what I've said here.
Consequences and implications, in other words.
Okay, here's my takeaway. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what everyone in the world is really looking for? We all know deep down that we are more than meets the eye. more than we have known about ourselves, individually and collectively. But how to really get to know that moreness, that has always been the question.
Yeah.
And I feel that's true. I feel like everybody knows that there's more.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And people are searching in so many different ways to find that moreness. And
Exactly.
obviously some ways are more effective than others, but
Exactly.
but then I put for myself, because this is what I'm really working on, awareness plus application equals moreness.
Wow, Beena. Beena?
Beena, are you there?
It takes a little while. There's a delay. There's about a 3/4 or 7/8 of a second delay in where because she's on the other end of the world.
Well, this
So
is
when we say she's just delay, yeah. So Beena,
Yes.
can you read that quote again, please? That last line.
awareness plus application equals moreness.
Part of our course making that we, the Mourners project that we're making the content for. It involved what is mourners, and we were working on this earlier. And there's a nice definition of
Yes.
mourners.
Yes.
Awareness plus
Application.
application equal mourners. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. You said everyone is really searching for their own mourners. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if you really think about that term, there's a problem word in that sentence.
Everyone is searching for their own moreness. I don't know.
One major problem word in there.
Okay.
Okay, well, if you take out everyone, the sentence makes no sense. If you
Right.
take out mourners, it makes no sense.
Right.
What's the last word that you can take out?
Searching?
There's the problem.
Why is it a problem?
By implication, if you're searching, you don't think it's here. You think it's elsewhere.
But don't you think a lot of people think it's somewhere else?
Precisely, that's the problem.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's this idea that you have to search for mourners. This simple term creates an awareness that causes a problem. And
Right.
so we have to really be careful. This is why that's a dictionary of power. It's not a dictionary of awareness, a dictionary of understanding, a dictionary of, no. Could have been 100 different names. A dictionary of power. When we understand the power of words in terms of how they affect your thinking, it's incredible. That's an idea. Just by that one word, it's an idea by implication. We are all absolute geniuses at implication. When we can shift to seeing the implications of everything, then the whole world opens up. That word searches has an implication.
Right. But I guess what I'm saying is, I feel like that's what most people are doing, is they're
Correct. Yeah.
thinking that it doesn't belong to them, thinking that it's out there somewhere.
Exactly.
And that's why they're not finding it, But I mean,
Exactly.
what is a word that we could put in that would correct that view and make it
Right. So we could say, what would be a more ideal way of connecting to your moreness is just simply understand you already are more.
So I'm going back.
So it is the issue is not searching for your moreness, but embracing your moreness,
embracing.
acknowledging your moreness, being aware of your moreness. Or, as way of impeccability would say, owning your moreness.
Right.
That's it. The issue is to own it. To own it. That's the problem. Most people actually do, at some level, know they have moreness. But look at you. If you own your moreness, you're going to have to run for office. Maybe. You see what I mean? Just as a simple example. Now, I don't mean it technically necessarily so, but by implication, that is potentially a consequence of you owning your moreness.
Right.
You have to accept the responsibility. So people deny their moreness because they don't want to accept responsibility for it.
That is
so avoidance, responsibility avoidance leads to lessness. Oh, it's a nice quote there too. Oh, I'm on a roll today.
You are. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. It's you.
Okay, I'm like one quote back here. Okay.
Responsibility avoidance leads to lessness. But you mean one before that?
Yes, wait a minute. Leads to lessness.
Yeah.
I said that when you deny your moreness, many times we deny our moreness to avoid responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I thought, yeah,
avoidance leads to lessness.
yeah. And then we had before that, we said about embracing our moreness is the issue.
Embracing,
Rather
yes.
than searching for it, embracing, owning. And then we went from embracing, we went to owning. And that's really the bottom line. Because you can embrace your moreness, but you really have to own it. Because when you own it, you can embrace it and say, oh, I'm more. But that doesn't necessarily bring responsibility into it. When you own it, that's when you bring responsibility into it. Yeah?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And you also take ego out of it. When you really own it, it's a real thing. It's not an ego belief. It's not an overestimation. It's a realness, right?
Right.
So owning it makes it real. And especially we go to the nth degree. We go to that last part so that the bureaucrats can sign off on it. We get to self-prove and prove our moreness to ourselves. So now you can say, your bureaucrat say, yeah, but what if you just believe this moreness? How do you know it's really real? Well, I've proven it to myself and to you. I've proven my moreness to myself. Now I can sign off on it. My moreness is real to me. I have no doubts about it. Nobody can say nothing because I've proven my moreness. That's it. So that self-proof is very, very critical. To owning it, very critical.
Right.
That face is brilliant. I love it. It's a big deal. The self-proof is a big deal. To self-proof is not a big deal.
What do you mean?
That's actually pretty easy. All right. So a couple of examples from people. They were in abusive relationships for year upon year upon year upon year. Why? Because they stuck to it. They were persistent. They were loyal. Loyalty, persistence, sticking to it, thoroughness, discipline, scrupulousness, integrity. They didn't want to give up on their promise. Those are all moreness. That's all the components of moreness right there, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, oh my goodness, you weren't being an idiot. You were actually being more, a touch inappropriately so, but nonetheless, if we look at that period where you were in that horrible relationship, because of those moreness reasons, isn't this a profound proof of moreness?
All righty. Okay, got it. It's a good point.
Isn't that huge? That is a huge point. When we look at our past through this perspective shift of recognizing your moreness, it becomes self-proving. Most good people that I know, they've gone through periods of idiocy because of their moreness.
Right.
Inappropriate application of goodness. You have that in your dictionary of power, yes? If not, put it in.
Inappropriateness of, I lost
inappropriate application of goodness.
Inappropriate, I know. Well, Eric told me about it when she was doing this, and she said,
Right. Now look at it in your own case, in the context of self-proof, to see that you had an inappropriate application of your goodness, or your moreness, you could say too. Inappropriate application of moreness is an equally powerful term, right? You had diligence, you had thoroughness, you had courage, you had loyalty, you had perseverance, you had persistence. I don't know the details of it, but it's all similar, right? You had a whole bunch of good things that kept you going in a really horrible, ridiculous relationship. Right? We focus on the moreness part of it, and that relationship becomes a profound proof that you did it. The very fact that you kept going on it for so long is a compounded proof for you that you actually possess goodness. Despite all of that crap, you still have positive things to say about the jerk.
Right.
More proof of your goodness. See? More proof of your moreness. So I think that the universe, people come into it in life, and they need to have their goodness and their moreness proven to them, so they get into the situation where you have indisputable, absolute, undoubtable proof of your moreness. You don't have to acquire it; it's already there in your past. Just have to be aware of it. So.
Well, that, you know what, that is super helpful to me. That is really helpful, because I do think that a lot of my lack of self-trust is looking at things, we talked about the other day about how I do really dumb things sometimes. And, I think if I go back and look at some of the dumb things I've done, maybe they're not so dumb. I mean, maybe they were inappropriate, an inappropriate application,
Yes.
but not really dumb, and not really,
Exactly.
not really,
Exactly.
showing that I am not capable, or that I'm, I mean, I don't know if that's character or not, but wisdom, character, whatever. I think I'm
You had character. You might not have had appropriate ability to apply that character. Your character just lacked that extra element of awareness
right.
and self-appreciation.
Right.
And in this case, we are using appreciate as in the technical, like an antiques appreciator, right? In the context of an evaluation, right?
Right.
This is it, or self-acknowledgement. Self-acknowledgement is the basis for self-appreciation. You have to acknowledge what's there, and we are taught, it's pressed into us. We conditioned that you don't have moreness. Look at your grandmother, or your mother, sorry, Erica Jane's grandmother.
Right.
That's what she did by application. All of her actions, walking around behind you, all the things she said, she was just saying, you less, you less, you less, you less. She didn't click to the implications of her own behavior.
No.
And this is the problem with most people. They're not aware of the implications of their own behavior. When you do that, okay, it becomes a profound responsibility. This is what the Mourners Project is all about. So this is why, for Erica Jane, it's going to be a big deal. She's already in that space, but when she starts to get into the position where we are consciously, deliberately, acutely aware of the implications of our behavior, the leverage on your ethics and your responsibility just goes through the roof. And it's a big deal. It takes a lot to be in that space, but it's an unavoidable space. Big deal. Yeah, big deal. There's a lot to all of this. There's always more. But yes, now, since we're close to time here, I want to end on this point.
Okay.
This point of going back, and as a task, as a kind of a bonus task here, since we're still on the session, as a task, write out how your past ridiculous behaviors were actually consequences of inappropriate application of your moreness. Yes, we can say goodness also, but in this particular case, moreness of your moreness. Now, yes, in one context, because we are practicing contextual relevance. This is a nice a conception for your dictionary of power as well.
Okay, hang on. Past ridiculous behaviors were examples of moreness. Okay.
Exactly. And then you can put inappropriate in brackets there, maybe, examples of moreness, but okay, they were inappropriate applications, but they were still examples of your moreness, right? So maybe it might have been inappropriate application, but they weren't inappropriate moreness. It was just inappropriate application, right? So it's to distinguish the difference, right? And yes, it is now an exercise thus of perspective shifting. And perspective shifting is almost always an exercise of context shifting. So you want to find the context in which that is relevant. See? Just looking at the moreness is relevant. Yeah. Because you look at it in one context, you can say, well, I was an idiot. Okay, in one context, that's absolutely true. In one context, you were an idiot. Fine. We accept that. But this is the key. People tend to assume that their idiot behavior is the only context they exist in and behave in. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
So as a definition of mourners, we could say, mourners are all those contexts in which you behave and act and exist, which are not idiot contexts.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And they exist. They exist. There's an incredible mourners to us that exists. We just have to recognize it. And this is why awareness is self-curative. When you start looking back at all your supposed dumb things, no, it's going to change profoundly. It's going to change profoundly.
I like it. I really like it.
And I really say this not just from a thing that applies to you, but if you just ask some of the others that will come up that overlap. Sher's not coming today because I had a thing with, anyway, so she can't come. But ask Sher, ask Sue, ask anyone. Ask them about, how their pasts were self-proof of their actual sensibility, their goodness, and their mourners. And you'll see it's not just you. And do this as part of your exercise. Look at others. Well, Erica Jane would be a great example.
Right.
Fantastic exercise, fantastic exercise. So this is part of the intent of Way of Impeccability. It's right there in the first session, actually. The intent is not to show you that you need to acquire moreness. No, it is to say it's already within you. It is to recognize it, acknowledge it, and just be aware of it. That's the point. You're not learning to be something. You are learning to acknowledge the something that's already there. Little different.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
Yeah. So I think that if you were to go in the courts of conscience, and there is such a place, the courts of conscience,
Right.
not conscious, courts of conscience. And it's a magical universal court. And of course, nobody can lie in this court. And you had to make a case and you had to make a case for your good character in this court. You would actually have to make a good case for your character because you can't lie.
Right.
It would genuinely be a case for your pre-existing good character already.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah. So it's just owning it. That's the key now. Just owning it and getting comfortable with owning it. That's the tricky part, right? Being comfortable with owning our mourners. It's not that simple. It's a little tricky because of many reasons, but that's just we'll continue on that next time, and it's something to kind of think about. But yeah. So you got a bunch of tasks, yeah?
I do.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I give you homework. Did you give lots of homework to your kids when they weren't kindergarten?
Not in kindergarten, but in second, third grade, I did.
Okay, well now it's coming back at you.
Yeah. See.
The universe, what goes around comes around.
But what's interesting about homework is homework is independent practice.
Exactly.
It should be, if you're doing it right, it should be work that you already know how to do, and you're just practicing. And
exactly.
I already know this.
Yes. Please put capital P practice into your dictionary of power.
All right.
Because we really take this concept of practice. You'll see it coming in later. We were again bringing it, reprising it in the Mourners project. Capital P practice is a profound thing, and when you really get into what it actually means, it's a big deal. Let's expand it and blow it out and go into all its particulars. It's really fun. But I just wanted to recapitulate the tasks really quickly here.
Okay.
The one was to write your fables, right? To start that, yeah. And to write it as an ongoing, yes, those are episodes, but it's a longer term project. You're starting the fable of Kay, right? In whatever conception you're going to put her in, whether she's a spirit, an animal, or whatever, fairy, a princess, alien, whatever, doesn't matter.
Okay.
The myth or the fable of Kay, and you're going to write this out of those specific incidents, and you're going to fableize them or mythologize them.
Okay.
And then the other one was this project of looking at your past through the lens of mourners. Yeah?
Right. Got it.
Right. Okay. Beena's practicing capital H hearing. Please add something, Beena. before Kay goes.
It seems like a really you can say that well rehearsed, well practiced, and it's a perfect perfect session right now for me. Everything is so precise, so well explained. Really, I'm really enjoying this. Thank you, Kate.
Wow. Yes, thank you, Kay. Wow, that's fabulous. Yeah, so magical, magical. Yeah, this is the magic of earnestness.
I like that.
Yeah, this is what you do for me. Your earnestness, it is this magical elixir that it's a magic power that you just have to put earnestness onto me, and all sorts of things come out.
There you go.
Yes.
It really is that way, seriously. And I'm asked an earnest question, all sorts of stuff come out me. And I was asked earnestly the other day, someone said, oh, yeah, you're using the term honest. What does it mean? A few hours later, I was still going. We had to leave. But so you ask me an earnest question, you can get a hell of a lot more than you expect to get. So just know that this magic power comes with cautionary things like all magical powers. It's a great responsibility. But this is it. All of what came, it's a function of your earnestness. So your earnestness pulls out what's appropriate for you in the time. I don't sit and rehearse all of this. No, I don't. And I have no plan ahead of time. It's pure trust in the power of earnestness. So your earnestness is also part of your own magic.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. Something to put in your story.
Okay. All right.
I love it. I love it. I'm so enjoying this, Kay. I hope you are too.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yes, good. We aim to have fun. If learning is not fun, then it's not really learning.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm just chock full of the quotes today. I've trained my brain to think that way. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. But yeah,
I like it.
I love it. I love it. We love it, and we really enjoy these. They are really fun. They're really fun. So that's fantastic. I love it. Enjoy, Kay. I'm looking forward to reading that story, and then we'll go into
Yes, me too.
I'm looking forward to reading it too.
Yeah. So
right.
remind me next time when we come on. It should be obvious, but to go into the logic of writing it to the universe and to posting it. There's a deeper logic to that. So
Okay.
yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, so much stuff. I just like I almost more. Yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard to cut off when there's always more.
And you guys have a great rest of your afternoon.
You too.
I will talk to you on.
Oh, you too. You too. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Bye-bye, Kay. Bye-bye.